There we go.
All right.
Hey, we're live.
Now we're live. All right. Hey, guys, we got to work out the kinks. It's only our third show, so I'm going to say everything that I just said. I'm going to say it again because I don't think anyone heard anything I said. So welcome to Bros and Brews, our third official podcast. Tonight, we are very honored to have one of the most influential and leading people in the sports card industry. Like I said, an industry I've been a part of as well since the age of 12. And I'm going to repeat the same lame joke I said that no one heard. And
it was lame.
Yeah. Well, I want them to hear it too. So, and I'm 28 now, so that's quite a while. It's got to be at least 10 to 12 years. So, and Rob, I think, was involved even before me because he's a couple of years older than me, not much older, just a couple of years. So let's give it up. But first off, please welcome my partner, Ara Basil, again.
What's up, everybody?
And now we'd like to introduce Rob, the Cardfather Veras, owner of Burbank Sports Cards.
What's up, Rob?
Wait. Oh. Here we go. Hey, don't anyone say that we don't have production value. All right, here we go.
Hey, you missed the opening joke, man. When I said, what's up, everybody? Just a dynamite drop in money. That broadcast school's really paid off.
All right, now we're getting to major league references that no one else is getting except for me and you.
I want to tie it into my newest acquisition. This is Joe Boo.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's awesome.
So Joe Boo is here in the bar. Hopefully helping the Dodgers and the Cleveland Indians. I want to see both of those teams in the World Series. They're two of the most exciting teams to watch.
I'm going to ask all our viewers right now to please share the podcast. We'd like to get as many people in here as we can because this is a very important topic to me. So I don't know if it's important to you guys.
Me too.
So there we go.
Me too again.
Now we hear you. There you go. That's much better. Let me bring the mic level down a little bit. Just let's all lean into the mic. Okay, guys, the way it's going to work tonight is we're just going to have our, like we normally do, just a casual conversation. As I've said before, our show is not about topics that lead to conversations. It's about conversations that lead to topics. So starting off, I know that you were in Vegas this last weekend, Rob, and you were at the Industry Summit. Something that was supposed to happen did not happen. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, so I'd love to hear it.
All right. Well, Fanatics, there was a rumor going around, and I mean, very solid rumor. We all were thinking it's not a rumor at this point, that they were going to announce the acquisition of Panini. Panini's the industry's, I would say, I guess, is it second leading right now after Topps?
They're the leading right now.
They're the leading, okay.
By revenue, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they're the leading manufacturer or card people that put out cards. And Fanatics, I think you guys know of who Fanatics is. Fanatics is all over the TV, selling all kinds of products, sports-related products. They have, from what we know, made a bid to acquire Panini. And this weekend was supposed to be the big announcement.
Interesting. And
that did not happen.
Nope.
And Rob was there, I wasn't. So I would just want to get his perspective to see what he thinks, delayed it, or is it off? Did you talk to anyone that knows what's happening?
Yeah, that's going to be massive news when it's officially announced. Got there on Saturday, and there was a buzz that it could be announced. And as the week went along, I kept hearing 10 to 14 days. I don't think they wanted to do it with everybody there where they'd be on the spot to answer a lot of questions, which made sense to me. Panini was barely there. The summit usually is their big showcase where they partner with Beckett,
right,
Upper Deck, and Topps. They do their own programs, and Panini is generally a huge partner in the summit. So it was telling that they basically weren't there. So I'm hearing 10 to 14 days. Obviously a giant piece of news,
right,
and obviously a piece of news that is going to turn this industry upside down.
Right. I wonder what it was that is, delaying this.
Well, there's been some legal, from what I understand, still some dotting of the I's, crossing of the T's.
Okay.
And I really, if it was me anyways, I'm not sure I'd want to make that announcement in front of everybody because there's going to be a million questions and they might not have the answers for them.
Okay.
Maybe it's just a better bet to announce it where there's some space between things and maybe they have acquired it. Now they can actually answer some questions. I mean, they bought Tops a while ago and still nobody seems to know exactly what's happening there.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
So just a lot of nervous people, excited people, and people that just don't know their place in the new world order of fanatics.
I see. Okay, well, that answers it a bit. That makes it a little bit more clear for me.
So I have a question before we, delve into all the details and nuances of the industry. I'm coming from the school of 1989, 1990.
I know.
I have not collected sports cards since I was a kid. Right?
Basil gave me a bunch of junk wax era baseball cards. He said, "Hey, take them to Rob and see how much he'll pay you." I said, "It's better that you just put them in the trash right here."
Well, no, I didn't put them in the trash. I actually put them in my kid's spokes on the wheels on the bike. But going back to my point, I still think Ken Griffey Jr.'s 1989 Upper Deck rookie is the ultimate card. So that's how uneducated I am. But I wanted to know, Rob, you mentioned Topps, you mentioned, like all these Fleer and all these other old school brands. How did they lose market share on like baseball, hockey? I mean, Harry always tells me Topps baseball's crap. You got to go with Bowman or whatever. No.
That's not what I tell you, bro. I tell you Topps is the leading brand for baseball. Because Topps has the licensing still.
Okay.
Panini is unlicensed, although they do put out their own products and they have players that actually put in autographs and impacts and everything. But no, you got to go with Topps if you're doing baseball.
Okay, so Topps
so
is
don't
still
get
a
it
big
flipped.
Player. Okay, Topps still a big player. So my question is this: Don Russ used to be a big player in baseball too.
Sure, they started in 1981, and they were a huge player, and they made a lot of cards. Right. I think they're still making 88 dollars. To be honest with you, I'm not sure they ever stopped.
Well, Basil, because I know you're not as enlightened, so let me just let you know what's happening here.
And for the unenlightened viewers as well. I mean,
when Panini came into the market, Panini's been around a long time. They've been around. They're an Italian company originally, but when they came into the American market, they bought all the licensing names. So Donruss now is under Panini.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So you do see Donruss products out there, but it's actually Panini. It's not the original Donruss that we knew when we were kids.
Got it.
And not only Donruss, they bought Fleer. They bought Pacific, all the Pacific brands that were Crown Royale, Omega. What else? What else is out there that they bought? Playoff. There you go. Sure. Yeah, they bought all that stuff. So a lot of the brands that we were used to when we were growing up,
right?
Some of them are still around. It's just under the Panini umbrella.
Got it.
Now here, an interesting question would be, once Fanatics takes over, are they going to keep all that? Or are they just going to scrap? I mean, I guess it depends on the revenue.
Yeah, they'll be keeping most of the brands, I imagine.
I think it's brand name recognition.
I mean, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. They might have a few products that they have the Fanatics brand on, but I can't imagine it'd be a whole lot.
Sure, okay. And for those of you, I think I mentioned that Rob is the owner of Burbank Sports Cards. He's wearing a shirt just in case I didn't mention, so that
because I don't think he did.
I mean, if you're watching the podcast, chances are you know who this man is, you know why he's here, and there's a reason you're watching it.
Here for the beer. That's it. Might need one in a second too, by the way.
Oh, geez.
Oh, we got him. Don't worry.
All right,
we're set. Don't worry about that. So let's go back a bit and see how this whole thing came about as far as Rob being involved with the shop. And I've heard the story, and it's an interesting story. And I'd love for the viewers and the listeners to also hear it. So, Rob, I'm going to let you take over and tell it.
I'd love to tell the story. I've told it a few times.
Yeah, you've told it to me.
I started collecting cards at the age of 8 in 1974. That's my first memories of opening a pack. I grew up in Brockton, Massachusetts, and my original shop was the Ice Cream Man.
Wow.
This was, that was how I got my cards, especially during the summer. Random packs at the supermarket, things like that from Mom. But for the most part, the ice cream man came around and I lost my shit. Am I allowed to say shit?
Yeah,
You're allowed to say whatever the hell you
Okay,
want.
I just wanted to make sure. 'Cause I like to say shit.
This is not made for kids. I actually clicked on the not for kids thing. So, yeah.
That's perfect then. So started collecting back then. It was more of a summertime pursuit. Back then, I actually came from a coin and stamp background. My grandfather got me into them, and basically moved out to Southern California in 1977. And then what happened was there was a coin and stamp shop on Magnolia Boulevard in Burbank, and it was called Donald S. Osborne Coins and Stamps. And I was in there all the time. And so at the age of 12, he asked me if I wanted a job. And, you know, I'm excited. I've never even thought of having a job. Well, the job entailed delivering flyers. And I'm a little disappointed, but I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, I was making like $2 a week for an allowance. And for this, I was going to get a penny a car and 2 cents a house. And that was like righteous cash when
It's like $1 million to a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my origin story, was going around looking for the biggest parking lots and apartment complexes.
Right.
And then afterwards, you know, he took a liking and said, would you like to work behind the counter? Again, big money, $1.50 an hour, cash under the counter.
No taxes.
No taxes there. So that guy was more than generous. And basically, I worked from 1979 to 1989 and learned a lot. Yeah. He allowed me to put a baseball card section into the shop. We called it Rob's Cards and Collectibles, and they would sell cards for 20%. They took 20%, and then they'd sell them during the day, and then I'd be there on weekends working for them, selling cards. And eventually, we were selling more cards than they were selling everything else.
Yeah.
And so at the age of 22, he wanted to retire. No, he was not 22. I was 22. And my father and I bought the business. And that was 33 years ago. Wow. And running it ever since, nonstop, grinding every day. And our current location is our 4th retail location, by far the most impressive of the bunch. And,
I would say so, yes. I've seen 3.
Yeah,
so, yes.
Yeah. The first one was actually quite good, too. That was a long time ago.
Right.
But, so now my son, Ryan, basically runs the business. He's 27. I'm more of a figurehead. I'm more built to do these things.
Right.
You know Ryan, there's no way in hell you're getting
No,
him
he's
here.
not going to be here.
He's not going to be here. So
Ryan not only runs the business, he's pretty much he's running the industry at this point. The kid is like all over the place, and he's very well respected, very well known. And
oh, yeah.
I mean, I deal with him all the time. Rob can attest. I'm there probably 4 to 5 times a week.
Yeah, VJ still has the record at 8. But
he was going to be here, but he's in Vegas right now.
Is VJ paying you rent at this point?
oh my God.
By the way, maybe I shouldn't say this, but that's his first cousin.
Really? Oh, that's funny, man. That's funny.
I love him to death.
Oh, yeah, VJ's great. I had no idea going into that. But he holds the record 8 times. It's unofficial. Someone might have been in more. But that's the one time I kept track. Like, there's only 7 days in a week. The guy's been here 8 times.
That's insane.
But yeah, no, my son runs it. I call him the epicenter of the epicenter. The kid's brilliant.
Right.
He's a pain in the ass with me, but he's absolutely brilliant with cards.
Yeah.
Everybody loves him. Everybody wants a piece of him at all times.
Yes.
And
people wait hours just to see him.
it's crazy.
Hours.
They do. And that's nutty. When people walk in the store, and you know this, stay on
Get
the mic.
closer, please.
Is when they walk in, they actually put their name on a list to sell cards.
I do it myself, I know. And I follow every rule. I mean, I'm a loyal customer since, a real loyal customer since the pandemic. But before that, I was a spotty customer. Came in here and there.
Spotty.
But, yeah. Because, I mean, I also left the hobby for a while. I mean, my backstory, I'll give you guys a little backstory. I started collecting when I was like 12, 13, like I said. By 15, my dad owned a shoe repair store in Pasadena, and I took a whole showcase. He used to sell like shoe polish and like dusters and stuff like that for shoes. And I was like, Dad, can we put in a second showcase? You can put your stuff in the second one. Let me sell cards from here.
That's awesome.
So I started selling cards in his showcase. And then I was going to the shows and picking up $8 boxes and selling packs for 50 cents a pack.
Dude, that was the grind back then.
Yeah. And then eventually, although this was a hobby, something like I did on the side, and eventually the time came where I got the opportunity to buy a store. And I jumped at it.
I've never heard this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I jumped at it, and I bought a comic book / sports cards / collectible store. But my main thing was sports cards, and I was selling Pokemon, I was selling Magic, I was selling collectibles, I was selling.
Harry, you gotta tell the Eric Estrada story, bro.
I don't want to put it out there because he might see it.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Very intrigued.
Oh, jeez. My store, by the way, was on Roscoe Boulevard, across the street from Kaiser in it's Panorama City, but people mostly know it as Van Nuys. All right, I'll tell the story. So when Pokemon just had first come out, and it had just been released, Wizards of the Coast back then was the company that put it out.
The 95, 96?
No, 98-ish,
Okay.
98-ish, 99 maybe even at this point. Yeah, 99. So I ordered a case. I got a case through my distributor, which were Diamond Distributor was the company I was working with back then. I didn't know how hot these things were going to be. I had no idea.
Dude, my son wants to have his birthday party Pokemon.
I know.
All those years later, it's still hot.
Yeah,
crazy.
I had no idea. So I was selling packs at $2.99 a pack, $1.99, $2.99. Next thing I know, I'm sold out. People are buying boxes. So now I'm calling my distributor. They're like, they're sold out. They can't back. Everything's on back order. My customers want them. So I go to Target and I find a bunch of them at Target. So I pay the retail price. Okay. So if I pay retail, and Rob knows this very well because he does it at his shop too, anything that's retail, you have to do a bit of a markup because why are you doing it? If there's no profit in it, you have to have at least some profit. You're putting time in, you have to pay rent, you have to pay employees. There's all kinds of costs that go into running a business. Taxes. Anyway.
Truth.
Anyway, so I got I'd say probably a couple boxes worth from Target, and instead of $2.99, I priced them out at $4.99. Okay, so one day, a slow day, this dude walks in. He looks at me, and I recognize him right away. I knew
How
who
could
he
you
was.
not?
I knew he was. It was Poncherello. I recognized him right away. So, and the guy had this biggest weird attitude. Like he wasn't smile. He wasn't friendly. He didn't smile. He just came up to me. He's like, "Hey, do you sell those Pokemon cards or whatever the kids want these days?" I'm like, "Yeah, you have them." He's like, "Okay, how much is a pack?" I said, $4.99. It's as if I told him they were $1 million a pack. He's looking at me like, "Why so much? Target has them for $2.99." I'm like, well, then go to Target. What do you want me to do?
Right. All day long, I get that.
Then we're talking about this guy. I mean, I'm not talking to a guy that's struggling to make ends meet here. Maybe at that point.
Well, hold on,
he was
Harry,
on novellas.
Hold on. Chip's money ran out in
No.
1994.
But he was
Yeah.
on novellas. He was on the
but
Mexican soap operas. He was making money.
Dos Mujeres, Un Camino's not paying as much as Chips did.
I mean, the guy just turned around and walked right by. No,
You're there. Who cares?
exactly.
Dude?
Buy for your kid. It's $5,
Oh my
bro.
God. I never understood that. It's a convenience thing for me. If you guys are selling it, I respect the price. I'll pay it.
Right.
Why am I going to drive
Right.
around and get,
And you're not even going to find it at Target, buddy. Go ahead. Go give it a shot. It's not going to be there. I bought all of them. I mean, I know they're not there.
We've been dealing with that for the last 3 years
Exactly.
with blaster boxes.
Right.
Everything that quote unquote is at Target that's been sold out.
Right.
guys, I want to bring this up real quick, and I want to, ask you guys this question. What is the difference between a blaster and a hobby? I keep hearing this.
Blaster's retail. That's
Okay.
only sold at like Walmart, Target, Barnes and Noble, and places like that.
Okay.
Hobby is sold directly through hobby shops.
Gotcha. Okay.
Retail's kind of built to be at a certain price point where mom and her 12-year-old are walking the aisles and he's looking for some cards and she sees it. It's $20. It's a box, impulse item.
Right.
And so, yeah, they're given to a lot of the retail establishments. Hobby is meant to go through hobby shops, like Harry said.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
I had another celebrity client, in contrast to Poncherello. Donnie Wahlberg, very nice guy.
Donnie's a great guy.
Generous guy. He whatever it was. He never even asked price. He was just like, he wanted it for his kids. He bought, and he was a regular customer. But I mean, in contrast, you'd see how people are. It doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or you're somebody that's just a fan or just a fan of the hobby, walking in off the street.
I have a Pokemon story.
Go ahead.
It's pretty recent too.
Okay.
So I'm in the store, and this tall guy comes in with this grumpy guy and a couple little kids. And so they're all walking around, and I'm looking at the tall guy, and I'm like, I know him. I just can't place him. And I'm like, I know he's famous, but I don't know why. And so I go up to one of my kids, and I'm like, who is that? Mm-hmm. It's Pete Davidson. And I'm like,
Pete Davidson is tall? I had no idea.
yeah, he's like 6'3", 6'4".
okay.
He was way taller than me.
Wow.
Ends up the grumpy dude was his bodyguard, and one of the kids was Kim's, and the other was Chloe's. Or did I get that right?
Yeah, probably. They both have kids. So.
Okay, I can't keep them straight. Right. I'm not keeping up with them, I guess.
Okay, see, I'm not the only one that can make lame jokes.
Lame dad jokes all day long. But the story is, though, so the kids were looking at Pokemon, and they're over in the Pokemon section, and there's a bunch of little kids in the area, too, and I'm hearing a commotion. I don't know what's going on. They come to the register. Ends up, Pete had bought all three of them a box.
Wow.
Like $100 box each.
That's nice.
And the kids were like tripping out.
Of course.
So the dad wants a picture. And Pete's like, I'll take a picture with the kids, but our kids, they can't be on camera. So it's one of those like Kardashian rules, I suppose. But it was an interesting experience, bought a lot of stuff, and was real chill, but it was like, I can't believe I didn't recognize him at first.
So, Rob, I got to ask this question.
Me too. Was VJ there?
He probably was.
Every time you go live at the store, I see VJ wandering in the back. It's awesome. It's like, and Harry points it out too. It's like great.
Hey, he's there again.
He can be there for like 3 hours at a time. Doesn't that dude work? He comes in like all fancy dressed like he works. Then he spends like 3 hours at the store. I don't even get that. I mean, like, how long's that guy's lunch?
Realtor's life, I guess. I don't know.
I guess.
Oh, man.
What was your question?
So I was going to ask.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of celebrity drop-ins, man. Has there ever been any talks for maybe a reality show, Pawn Star style?
Porn stars.
style.
All right, there we go.
You know,
We've
Pawn
had
Star
that.
style.
Well, yeah. Over the years, there's been different things come through. We're doing something on YouTube now called The Card Shop.
Okay.
It's kind of highly produced. It kind of looks like Netflix, and we've been running that. Got an actual email the other day from DraftKings.
Nice.
And the guy's like a super fan, loves it, loves the whole Cardfather thing. They're looking to license it.
Very cool.
So we're doing that right now. We've been on a number of different documentaries, shows, almost anything that has to do with the hobby. They come to me at some point.
Right.
And it's cool to be in that position.
Absolutely.
And, I got a feeling there'll be some bigger things in our future. I really like being in front of the camera, talking about the hobby. I try to drag Ryan in.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's
just
not for everybody,
it's
man.
not.
My kid is shy too. It is.
And that's
what it is.
okay.
You know what's crazy is I was a shy kid too, and until I chose my profession, which was which is become a DJ. So you can't be a
While
DJ.
you're still hiding behind a laptop.
Well, you can't be a DJ and be shy. Dude,
Playing the music really loud.
I'm in front of 400 to 500 people every Friday and Saturday night, and I have a microphone, and I'm controlling the whole crowd, bro. At this point, if I'm shy, then I don't know what shy is, So, yeah, but I mean, what my point is, he can grow out of it still. If I mean, he's gonna want to have to do it himself, though. So,
At the end of the day,
he doesn't
his
care.
personality is totally perfect for what he does. He's very analytical.
Right.
The math skills, the browsers going up and down, and
He's so fast.
And he's got the biggest bangers. He's got the biggest buyers and sellers anywhere coming through. And
he knows his shit.
Oh, does he know
So
his
many
shit.
times we've called him randomly. Like Harry, I'm like, Harry, ask him about Topps Chrome Star Wars, because I'm a Star Wars nut. And I wanted to buy the Galaxy, or what was it? What was the box?
It was the Galaxy. Actually, not that Ryan doesn't, but that was Alex that gave you all
was it
that.
Alex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alex isn't just Star Wars. So it was Alex that gave you all that info.
Yeah, man. He
one
knew
of-
his shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know your shit, you're
Then
pretty
you-
much
exactly.
not
He's
working
not
in my
working
showroom.
for Rob.
But the funny thing is, my dad works with us too. So we've mentioned the younger generation.
Right.
My son's 27. I'm older than 27. My dad is 81.
Wow.
And if you know my dad, he will run circles
Right.
around
Everyone.
every of you.
Yeah.
Super sharp.
Right.
Always at the register. Loves the action.
Yeah.
And he's got a lane that he's in. He's amazing. All three of us have different skill sets.
Absolutely.
And
Which
you
I-
work well together. That's it.
for the
you
most
know?
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see the morning when we're all yelling at each other like this Italian kind of family, just like throwing shit at each other.
I've been a witness for you and Rob's. I mean,
Me
you
and Ryan,
Ryan's.
when
yeah,
we
you and
clash,
Ryan's
it's
clashes.
ugly.
Yeah.
No matter how wrong he is, he'll
not
double
convinced.
down. He will double down. Then it just gets to be comedy
Baze,
gold.
one time I'm in there doing a deal with Ryan. Rob comes in and they start going at it. Dude, I felt uncomfortable. I walked
Oh,
out.
you're Armenian. We're
I walked out.
Exactly the same.
I don't want to be in the middle of
Yeah.
it. I just walked out. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll let this simmer down, cool down, and I'll come back in.
And I'm super chill.
And I've waited 2 hours to talk to Ryan.
Look, let me tell you.
Then he walked out.
Let me tell you, Italian, Greeks, Armenians were cut from the same cloth. Okay, families always fight with each other, but at the end of the day, we love each other. And I'll give you a small example. My brother-in-law, Angelo Tsaroukas, is a Greek guy, comic, right? So he's about to marry my sister. His family flies in from Montreal. His sister and him have always been at odds. You know, they always butt heads. And I'm inside the house, and I'm just doing something, and then my best friend's there too, and they start fighting outside on the patio, and he's like, dude, you better go outside, man, they're fighting. I'm like, they always fight. And they still love each other, and then, you know, but it's hilarious, because like from outsiders, you like look around like, dude, some shit's going down.
Right.
It's all love, man.
Right.
Come on.
Right. By the way, Basil is a stand-up comic too. So
Alleged stand-up comic. I don't know
but-
about the whole politically correct climate nowadays.
anyway,
it's
so
bullshit.
basically, all three of us have been, you know, we're stage hounds. Basically, all three of us at this point. Rob is a drummer in a band.
Nice.
I
don't know
am
if
a
you-
drummer
I
in
don't
a
know if you knew
band.
that.
Actually, we just played out my birthday. It was my birthday 2 weeks
Right.
ago.
Nice.
Right, we talked about
Happy
this,
birthday,
right.
man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. One more year around the sun. Yeah, we actually played up on Foothill Boulevard, kind of like the Glendale La Crescenta border.
Foothill
Place
Boulevard.
called the Roar Room up there. Small little dive bar.
Okay.
Nice.
Lots of fun.
It's the best thing to be on stage for me, at least. And I mean, you know,
Oh, I love it. The energy's
Yeah.
great. It's
Oh,
just-
you think about it, because like, you know, you play with baseball cards, you DJ.
I'm a kid. I've never grown
It's
up.
an ecstatic. You're doing your comedy. It's an
got an
extended
arcade.
adolescence. We're really blessed to be able to be as
Seriously.
Look, you're only as old as you think you are.
Yeah.
That's it. Age is a number, and it's all in your head.
And you know what's crazy is our parents'
It's a
generation.
big number, though.
it gets bigger every year, Rob.
Yeah. Our parents' generation would have never accepted this because they're not like this. They're
Oh, of course
by
not.
the
Blue
book.
collar.
Blue
You gotta
collar.
do this.
My
and
dad
that
is
and that.
72, still works, goes to
Yeah.
work every day. I don't think he'd know what to do with himself if he didn't go to work.
Exactly.
I don't think I'd know what to do with myself.
Yeah, but I mean, his work is not playing with baseball. Not that yours is, but I mean,
Oh, it is.
but I mean, some of it is. So, you know, he works in a company where what he does is he makes convertible tops. He designs. He works with leather. I mean, he's tradesman basically. What my trade is talking, you know, and then that's my trade. I sell cars with this guy during the week. I'm also a broker at Sozi.
That's right. 3B Auto Brokers, proud sponsor of Bros and Brews.
By the way, I want to give a shout out to Vaughn all the way from Tokyo. Vaughn's
That's right.
watching.
Vaughn's watching from Tokyo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say I'm big in Japan.
Oh, there we go.
I've heard this before.
See, I don't know if everyone would get that reference, but there's no way we can't get that reference. That's our generation. That's
Yeah.
what we grew up with. And,
That's dad humor again.
yeah, it worked. So, excuse me. Did you get this man another beer?
I did.
Okay.
You did.
Yeah.
All right.
Beer's flowing, baby.
Perfect. So, Rob, what I was going to ask is, where do you see the industry going in the next couple of years?
Good question.
Well, let me just whip my crystal ball out. And,
I mean, in your estimation,
I
obviously.
hate when people say that. The forecasting, like, where do you see this in 5 years?
yeah.
Who the hell fucking knows?
Do I look like Nostradamus to you?
Well, I have you here. I got to ask you something.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, whip out the pie chart.
Okay. So there's a double-edged sword to what's about to happen.
Right.
Fanatics basically bought the industry. They're going to spend a couple $1 billion to jump into this. Fanatics is a direct-to-consumer company with everything that they do. Now, we don't know what the future holds at the hobby shop level, the card breaker level, any level. What's the percentage of product that they produce that's going to go straight to the consumer? We don't know. How much more product are they going to make? We don't know. We don't know how much is going to the breakers. We don't know what's going to the hobby shops, but I got a feeling the hobby shops will get the least out of the three.
Wow.
So now you think about that, and Fanatics is a brand that doesn't want to associate it with maybe some retailers where you've been into stores where you're kind of climbing over things.
Yeah.
They're not friendly. They're not stocking things. They're not buying things back. I think that if you're a store owner and you don't have a real value add, they're going to take your allocation and sell it themselves. So I think a lot of shops are going to be in trouble. I don't think everybody's going to be getting allocations, at least not what they're used to.
I see.
But the double-edged sword part is they're going to be able to market in ways that the industry never has.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw a sports card commercial on ESPN besides never?
Never.
When was the last time you saw a sports card commercial on live sports?
You don't. You just don't.
It doesn't exist. Panini and Topps have never spent that money.
Right.
I personally think that they're going to turn more sports fans into sports card collectors than any other business that could have bought our industry.
Okay.
Because we've had a few people come through, billion-dollar companies, and they're like, Rob, what's the play? How do we do this? And I'm like, if you don't have the licenses, you're beholden to someone else.
Of course. It's all about licensing.
And so they come in and basically get baseball, get basketball, get football, and it's game over. And not only do they get the licenses, they got them for 20 effing years.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be dead by the time that thing's over. I mean, I might be dribbling at the counter. I'm like drooling on the counter at the shop. I mean, think about that.
Right.
So we really don't know. What I do know is I feel my business is in a great position. I've actually been texting back and forth with the Fanatics CEO of collectibles today.
Well, dude, you're an Apex store, man.
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
So I'm trying to get him in the store. He keeps telling me I want to come in the store. Can I come in Saturday? I'm like, no, I'm here. And can I come in Sunday? I'm like, shit, this guy's picking. I'm always there, and he's picking these days
that he's not that you're not there, right?
But I've had some of the big wigs of Fanatics through, and they're like, best shop I've ever seen.
Speaking of bigwigs, is Luger still with them?
I don't think he's there anymore.
Oh.
And you know what? Maybe he's with the company, but he's not in the position that people saw him in before.
Right.
So, I mean, I just didn't get it. The first product to come out is called Jackass. They made a Jackass set.
Are you kidding me?
I couldn't make it up
that
if I
TV
tried.
show Jackass?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
It surprised me. I'm like,
Right.
really? And
Right.
it came out expensive, kind of like a pump and dump situation, and no one's talking about it anymore.
Right.
Not even Johnny Maxwell's mom is talking.
No.
Johnny.
That's great.
All right,
Cheers to that.
I gotta ask. I have great luck opening up boxes.
Okay.
Well, you were opening up retail boxes and pulling out one of ones.
Yeah, exactly. I have no idea what I'm pulling, and it's the funny thing here is when we buy something, or if Harry buys boxes, I let Harry choose which box he gives to me, and I usually pull a one of one. VJ wants to open all the boxes, and he starts doing cartwheels. Oh my God, what did you open? I have no idea. What?
It's the guys that have no idea that have the best luck.
Right.
It's always like that.
So I pulled a LaMelo purple one time. I pulled what's the guy with the
You
beard?
pulled a James Harden one of one
Yeah.
black
There you
prism.
go.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
I had no clue. So my question is, Rob, have you ever seen, or has it happened? I'm sure it has, but what is the biggest, wow moment at your store? If somebody bought a pack.
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I don't even know the answer to that.
I don't think I know it either.
Really?
It's, no, you know something? That's a Ryan question.
Right.
Because I just...
Agassi opened up a Fleer recently that was filmed, a Fleer pack in the shop. He pulled a Jordan, a Kareem, and I'm trying to remember what else he pulled. And then he sent that Jordan in, And
It was a pretty fugly Jordan, though.
Yeah, I think. But it
came
was
out-
still a Jordan.
It was a Jordan. Well,
Out of a pack.
Agassi's not stupid, and he wasn't going to open just any random Fleer pack.
Right.
How
Like,
much did that pack cost?
I think he paid like what, $2,000,
Yeah, something like that.
$2,500 for it.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Yeah.
he kind of knows. You can see through
the
the back.
last card you see.
You can
Yeah.
see through the back.
I remember those packs.
And
It was 86, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a certain sequence
Right.
that goes on.
Right.
I remember
So
that too.
He was about 90%
That
sure
there was a Jordan in
that
there.
there was a Jordan in there.
Right.
Otherwise, he would have never opened it.
Of course not.
And so we had it on camera,
Right.
and it just got shared a billion times. He's slowly going through it, and he hits
What a showman.
Yeah.
and
he
he
is.
hit he hit the Jordan. Now, this thing was way off center. though.
Right.
It wasn't a pretty Jordan. but
Still got
again,
a 7.
A Jordan. Did he get a 7?
He got a 7.
Oh, that was a fugly
He
7.
got a
So
7.
Jordan rookie 7. What are we looking at?
These days,
What, 4,500?
somewhere around
500?
there. Yeah.
So he came up.
Yeah, no, he did well. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like he
It
lost
was
money.
probably more money when
back
he
then,
pulled it.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That was closer to the height of the market.
Right, right. It was when it was starting to
So
dip.
that brings me to my next question.
I bet it does.
Yeah. So what is going on now with the market? I know everything's going to shit. Thank you, U.S. government.
not necessarily.
But what's
Oh,
going
you
on?
mean as far as outside of the
as far as
sports
the
stuff?
hype and the pricing? Because I remember during COVID, dude,
That
these
wasn't
things
re-
were fluctuating more than stocks.
No,
If
they
a
weren't
player had 4
fluctuating.
catches in a football game.
Well, I'll tell you something right now. So let's get back to COVID because it's an amazing
Right.
topic.
Right.
It's a shitty topic, but it's an amazing topic. Here's a stat for you.
Okay.
The biggest month that we ever had in the history of our company was May, up until that point, was May of 2020, and our retail store was closed.
Everything through
How?
eBay.
That's
Everything through
because
eBay.
online,
Everybody was home.
everyone was on eBay, and everybody was, just trying to find a hobby. And our sales
nuts,
now,
Dad.
there was a double-edged sword. Our business went like this, just spiked like crazy.
Yeah.
But if you remember, you couldn't have people were all supposed to be staying home.
Of course.
So we're sneaking a couple guys in just to try to take care of some of the
Yeah,
orders.
you got to send out orders.
Rob, how horrible of you, man.
Yeah,
It's not even Armenian.
I put my
been around
guys in
Armenians.
harm's way, and no, there were Persians and Armenians I had come in. But seriously, no. I mean, your sales go like this, but your
Right.
staffing goes like that,
Right.
and every day you're further and further
Right.
and further behind. Luckily, my relationship with eBay is top notch, and they're like,
Yeah.
Rob, don't worry, keep everyone safe. It was amazing. And then when we opened the store back up,
Oh my gosh, I remember those days.
there were lines.
I
like-
remember that.
I mean,
I
we
remember.
would take video and it'd be 25, 30 people deep waiting to get in. And I felt like a restaurateur. Is it tour?
It's tour. It's restaurateur without the N. Believe it or not, there's no N in it. It's restaurateur.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it. So now I've been educated. But
Yeah, there's
I'm
no
like
end.
literally telling people that, you know what, you've been here 20, 25, 30 minutes. If you can kind of finish up, because I've got all these people in 92-degree heat outside that would like to get in. It's
Hilarious.
It is like, in what world does that conversation even come up in a baseball card shop?
Well, the world of free money, where everyone got money from the government and they didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So
And
it
then we
helped
had
the
social-
hobby.
Then we had social distancing.
Right,
So
right. We can only get like
pack the
5 or
place.
6 in at
Yeah,
one
it
point.
was a small place. And so
And this was the old location.
The old location.
this was our
Which-
third location. So that building is 7,500 feet.
Right, but the
So
showroom.
The showroom was like 750 feet. It was real small. And so, but the great thing was, and I hate saying the words "thank you, COVID," but I have to come to that though.
Right.
It's like we would never be in our location that
Right,
we're in right
of course.
now
Wasn't for COVID.
if we didn't see that huge spike. Looking at our showroom, going, we got to fix this.
Yeah.
And now our showroom's about 4,000 feet and
Right.
41
Awesome.
showcases.
These were the days of PSA 10 Brendan Clark's going for $400.
Yeah, it was
Jeez.
just ludicrous.
Bro, the prices were completely crazy.
Well, we were dealing with monopoly money.
Right.
know.
Right.
So I'm
right.
getting to now the PSA.
That's
Okay.
a $10 card, by the way. What I just
Really?
right. Right.
So-
maybe it wasn't 400,
Retail.
but it was maybe at $250 at that point. It
Okay.
was pretty high.
Getting back to PSA, how can you guarantee that they're going to grade it correctly, and B, because they are the gold standard on grading,
Right.
and B, switch your cards? Now, I have to bring this up because we're talking about sports cards, But what if it happens?
They're a reputable company, first off.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, they're the most reputable. Well, Beckett is also reputable, but during COVID, I know they hired a lot of people that had no business grading cards.
Yeah.
Truth.
Okay, so you would send in 10s and you'd get back 6s. You'd send in like 5s and get 9s. So it wouldn't make sense to grade.
In their defense, Harry. So here's the deal. Just like I'm sure a lot of other industries are like this. A, you couldn't hire anybody. Nobody wanted to work. They're making too much money sitting at home. And if you're that good of a grader, you're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
They couldn't pay people enough that had talent.
Sure.
Because they were grading things on their own.
Right.
And, plus they had social distancing. They couldn't pack people in there to grade cards. And their backlog at one point was 10 million cards.
Yeah, 300 of them were mine.
I remember when I pulled the LaMelo card, Vasquez and VJ was like, don't send it in now. They're charging $150 to grade. It's going to take a year to get it back. And I think when I pulled it, Harry, my card was like, what, 1,200 raw?
Yeah, at that point, it was the high point. Yeah, no, it wasn't 12. I think yours was closer to 1,000, but I mean, it was high.
It was high.
Now, PSA 10 of that card, I believe, is around 350 to 400.
Exactly.
So I mean,
I should have sold it then.
Yeah, but
bro, see, Rob would have given me 600 for it.
Ryan would have paid 800. Ryan pays too much.
Ryan does pay. I have a story. I made a deal with Ryan about 2.5 months ago. I took in some of my graded cards. I traded up and got your boy. I got Brady's PSA 9 Bowman Chrome. He had it at 4,600 at the time in the showcase. I think I gave him a Luka base PSA 10. I gave him I gave him a bunch of stuff. I gave him a Mac Jones autograph, Rookies and Stars.
I can already tell you won this deal.
Not only did I win once, I won twice. That's why I wanted to say. So, and then I gave him like another 1,000 cash on top of it, whatever it was. Okay. Yeah. So he gets the cards. Okay. Puts them out in the showcase. He sells pretty much every other card that I gave him, except the one card that I really didn't want to give him, but I was like, I guess I have to make the deal. So I gave him a 2004 Topps Pristine LeBron PSA 10. It's a pop count of 32.
Okay.
Second year
LeBron.
Second year LeBron, yeah. So today I walk into the shop. I see the card. I'm like, I wonder if that's mine because, it could be another one. So I looked at the serial number, and I remember I had taken a picture of the card. Yeah. So I looked at my phone. It's the same card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting our ass kicked on that card right now, by the way.
Hold on. So I take the card inside. I'm like, Ryan, this is my card that I gave you. I want it back. What can you do for me? So he looks it up. Current comps are like $300.
Yeah.
At the time, he gave me 400 credit for it.
I bet he did.
So I won twice on that card. It happens, but I've lost too.
Yeah, we all have.
Yeah, so it's not like you win some, you lose some. It evens out in the end. It's about it's about the hobby. It's about the love of the hobby.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's about the love of the hobby.
Absolutely.
So
I can't wait for my kid to start collecting sports cards. Like now he's all into Pokemon.
Right.
Right.
If I was really not, at this point I consider myself more of a collector than an investor.
Yeah.
Because I don't flip that many cards. The only time I would flip is if I'm trading up. That's the only time.
Yeah.
And so had I been an investor, March 2021 would have been a great time to sell.
March 2021 would have been a great time for everybody to sell everything.
No, but you don't understand how unsustainable the prices were back then, brother. Have
you seen the crypto market in 2021?
Yes, I did. Yeah, we got up to what, 60 almost.
Yeah. See, they collect sports cards. I get crypto.
So
yeah, it's all attached. Sports cards, crypto,
everything's intertwined.
Right.
Everything's
intertwined. There was a bunch of the Generation Z that made money off Dogecoin. They were in your store every day, I bet.
Yeah.
Right. So when Fanatics comes in, there's a good chance that we will see a little bit of a spike again. I think. I don't know. Do you
Rob,
agree?
does this
I totally
consumer
agree.
scare you?
What's that, the Fanatics thing?
No, the Fanatics business model of DTC. Does that scare you?
I think it's going to scare everybody else a whole lot more because we built our store to be Amazon proof.
Yeah.
That was the one thing when we built it. We're going to build something that Amazon would never want to do.
Right.
Fanatics will never want to do.
Yeah.
And I've always been, I can only be concerned with the four walls.
Sure.
whatever happens outside has to be noise. And if things get difficult, it's going to be harder for everybody else than it's going to be for us.
Right.
And we've been through all of this, and whenever the dips take place, we actually get stronger because our competition weakens so much.
Right.
Stores start to close, things get tough.
I know that.
But we're built to handle it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like I tell Ryan and I tell everybody, I'm like, it's going to go like this. You just got to work your ass off.
Yeah, you got to ride the wave and be able.
Oh, speaking of graded cards, though, so like I do these things called reels, and you're familiar
I
with
see
them.
the reels. Yeah,
we literally had dollar graded cards.
I just saw it today for $1.
$1, and if we could have priced them at 50 cents, we probably would have. My pricing gun doesn't do 50 cents all that well.
There was a post you did, I think today or yesterday. I kind of glanced at it. Barry Bonds rookie. Mark McGuire rookie, $8,
Yeah.
$6. I'm like, that's my child, and I still have those cards, and they're worthless.
Yeah,
Graded, they're worth that.
get some Aaron Judge rookies, bro.
Yeah, supply and demand's a bitch sometimes.
Oh man,
Yeah, I know what you're saying because as far as shops closing and everything, you were one of the only ones that survived the actual the 2003 to 2010 or 2018, I would say, a period where everything had kind of like died down. Me personally, I had to sell my shop. I sold my shop, and not only cards, comics had.
So someone took it over?
Someone took it over.
What was the address?
It was 13545 Roscoe Boulevard in Panorama City, corner of Roscoe and Ventura Canyon.
Okay.
It was called Comics Universe, but I mean, it was a comic book, sports card. I had it everything under the sun, basically. I continued doing business through eBay, but not to that level, whatever. But yeah, the guy that bought it from me kept it for about a year. Then he sold it, and then that next guy just shut down shop because he can continue it.
It's a hard business.
Yeah, and now it's a vape shop.
Sounds about right.
Which is gonna also be shutting down probably because of the new laws. I don't know if you guys, Baze, you know about vaping.
I mean, I'm just using this as a stop smoking aid. I'm not a purist, like fanatic like these
No, but
guys.
I heard
you
it
tried the new blueberry Raz. Look at the cloud I can make out of that. I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to quit.
Didn't they just ban Juul?
Yeah, Juul's been banned. I have no idea why. I think it's because it's easily readable and available to minors.
Right.
I mean, you walk into any convenience store and it's there. You should be 18 to get it, but people are buying them.
Right.
You know, they're
Yeah,
look,
see?
man, kids are going to get what they're going to get. I mean, when we were kids, we used to go to a liquor store and get beer.
Exactly.
You know.
I want to say thanks to Yervant saying great shop. He was one of my customers back then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he used to come in all the time, and we used to pack war and all kinds of stuff. It was a great time back in the day. And believe it or not, Basil, Rob knows this. That's why I'm addressing it to you.
Yeah.
The most expensive card, or let's say the most expensive
Wagner.
product. No, the product. I'm talking about sealed boxes and stuff. At the time, was probably either Topps Finest or Upper Deck SB Authentic. It was about $125 a box.
When?
2000, I'd say 99, 2000.
Probably $300 a box now, adjusted for inflation. Really?
No.
$100 in 2000?
Yeah. Okay, so
No.
I always tell people
$8 a pack. That was the most expensive pack I had in my shop at that point.
But,
And
but $8 back then was
Yes.
$8.
It was a lot of money.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
It's incredible.
brother, Prism boxes right now sell for $1,200 to $1,500. Basketball.
You're kidding.
it's crazy.
Jesus.
And there's only
Still
12
sense.
packs in a box.
That's
We had
insane,
at that
man.
time we had 24, and then the hoops had 36 at one point. So I mean, there was those precious metal gem boxes, the Skybox boxes that I think you have one at the shop. I don't know if you still have it. I don't know if you sold it or not. It was that you have it at 25 grand. I was selling those boxes at $45.
Yeah, they were $45, $50. Yeah, it's asinine. And the odds of opening that box and getting your money back are slim to
impossible.
none.
Impossible.
But you're saying there's a chance. Though.
Exactly. It's like the Dumb and Dumber movie.
Yeah,
You're saying there's a
$1
chance.
million
See,
Jordan.
that's the difference between the collector and the gambler,
Right.
So when we bought those Donruss sets, right, with the LaMelo in it, you didn't open yours. You kept it because you wanted.
I opened one. I kept one. Yeah.
Right, you opened one, you kept one, and I'm like, screw it, I'm opening mine. Let's go for the gold, baby. And we hit it.
There's a lot of people sadly in the industry that are like that, and they are degenerate gamblers.
And that's being kind.
So, yeah. Also, the second shop that you had, I visited. I remember that's when I first visited Burbank. Was when you had it on? Was it on Magnolia?
Yeah, that was a nice shop.
That was a nice shop, is what I was saying. How many showcases did you have in there? Because it seemed like you had more. Maybe it's just my memory because I was a kid.
Yeah, it was probably 25, 26
Yeah,
showcases.
it was all like showcases.
Because we had like back-to-back showcases.
Right.
It was a beautiful setup. But the problem was we had 4 buildings at that point.
I see.
Because our back room wasn't big enough. So we had stuff in 3 other buildings. So we would get an order online, and it could be in 4 different buildings.
Oh, my goodness.
It was a nightmare. So we had to move. So we moved and we shrunk the showroom and made this giant warehouse.
Right.
Because we veered really hard towards e-commerce.
I see.
And now we've got, how many cards do you think we have in that warehouse?
I know it's in the millions. That I know.
Can I pull a Dr. Evil? 100 billion, gajillion, filbahillion, shibalillion.
You're close. We have 42 million
42,
cards
there you go.
God, man.
that are on eBay.
Dude, I was cleaning out my parents' garage when we sold the house, and I had 4 shoe boxes full of cards, and I
And
thought
you were
I had
overwhelmed,
one.
yeah.
I was overwhelmed. How do you handle 42 million fucking cards?
Bro, he's got a system. I've seen it. It's a very...
Please tell me it's not the Dewey Decimal System, because that's outdated.
Dewey Decimal would be jealous of what we do. Seriously.
And it takes manpower to do what he's doing. And 42 million cards on eBay. Just imagine just the uploading time it would take for each card. But I know you have that.
We have systems.
Yeah, you have that printer that you work with. The
scanner.
Yeah, the scanner. Right. When I'm doing my cards, when I'm putting them on eBay, I'm doing one by one, taking a picture. I know it takes me. Each card takes me at least. If I'm really fast, about 3 to 4 minutes. If I'm really fast,
You're really slow.
yeah, exactly. He does what probably in that amount of time. You'll probably do about 100 cards.
We do a lot of cards. We're pretty tight on that stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
And at this point, you've got the main building.
Yes.
And then you've got the shop, which I'm there a lot, and VJ's there more than me, and you're doing the show. Is what I was going to get to.
Yeah, because I don't have enough on my plate.
Exactly.
I was like, so here's the deal with the show, because in a billion years I never would have thought I was running a show.
Right.
But I'm sitting there one day and I'm like, all these people are going to Dallas for the Dallas show.
Absolutely.
Or they're going to the National. And there hasn't been one west of the Mississippi since 2006.
Wow.
And I'm like, everybody's dropping all this money on airlines and hotels, and I'm like, Southern California is the best market in the country.
100%.
And it's not even
100%. Yes.
And so I'm like, there's a void. And so one of my good customers, Jay, he runs the Westminster show and the Brea show. Really good guy, kind of like serious nuts and bolt, not like one of those bros that's just yelling into their phone constantly.
Right.
This guy knows what he's doing, and I'm like,
by the way, just between you and me, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I hate breakers. Okay, keep going.
well, yeah, join the club. So I tell him, I'm like, I'd like to do a show together, and he's looking at me like I'm crazy, because I'm like the Cardfather, Burbank Sports Cards, and he's been doing shows for a couple of years, and he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know the first thing about running a show, but I want to do a show, but I don't want to do a show. It's exactly what I told him. I'm like, I just want to be the brand and be the guy that just drinks the beer and hangs out and has fun, which is basically what I did the whole show. And so he brings on this guy named EJ, who runs a show as well. So the three of us, and so we're searching for a place to have it. And I'm like, he comes at me with the Marriott Convention Center in Burbank.
Okay.
And I'm like, I didn't have any intention to do anything that big as our first show. It's an expensive big building.
Yeah.
And so we're selling tables, we're getting corporates and all that. And I'm starting to realize really quick.
You're onto something here.
We're onto something, but that building that I thought was really big was becoming much smaller.
Of course.
So we sold out the tables.
And Basil's not a small building.
Dude, I saw the video, bro. There was people around the fucking Marriott. Have you seen how big that hotel is?
Yeah.
Dude, There were people around the block.
Yeah, and so it was like, because I was nervous up until the night before. Is anybody going to show? Those tables were expensive.
Sure.
They were $500 for 6 feet, and if I don't bring a retail clientele there,
Yeah.
I'm screwed, and I'll never do a show. So I told my guys, I'm like, 2 things. I don't care if I make money, but I don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I've never done this before.
Sure.
So lo and behold, people are telling me it's either the best show they've ever done, or they did more dollars at my show than the National.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there, my mind is blown. I'm like,
wow.
I'm just a card shop running a show. And people are like, that's bullshit, Rob. You're not just a card shop.
Right.
But in my mind,
And in your mind, that's what it is, yeah.
it was the first one we did.
Right.
And so I'm
You
like,
hit a home run on your first at bat.
yeah, but the thing was, how do you follow that up? Because people are like, you can't do the Marriott again. I'm like,
It's too small.
Rose Bowl.
yeah. But I'm like,
Maybe eventually.
it's 5 minutes from my shop.
Yeah.
You could literally get off a plane and walk across
Right
the
across the
street.
street, right.
Yeah.
Hotel, show, all in one place. And so obviously we couldn't do it again. So we're looking around and there's not a lot of convention space. Everything's backed up because of COVID. It's, literally we squeezed into the Marriott. It was the only date that was available. So we're looking around and Jay's like, how about Ontario? I'm like, that's got the worst ring in the world. I'm like, the only time I've never been to Ontario. It's only a place that you drive through on the way to Vegas.
I did the Ontario Improv many times, and there's nothing really in Ontario worth going for.
Yeah, and I'm like, you got to be shitting me.
But
There's
to their credit, the crowd's freaking awesome in Ontario. So
major props to Ontario then. And so I'm like, we had to have it next to an airport.
Sure.
Because
There's an airport there.
60% of our sellers at the show are from out of state. Sure.
Yeah.
So we got to be convenient. And so point 1 for Ontario was international airport
Right
within
there.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I go to view the facility. It is first class. I'm like, this place is gorgeous. And they have a room there that's 70,000 feet. So
how big was Marriott?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just.
it was 15,000.
Oh my goodness.
So this building is massive. So I'm
my
like, that's
goodness.
point 2. The problem was they didn't have any dates through August. So we talked to them, and they had a date that wasn't optimal.
Okay.
But we could bump the person that was there because we take 4 days.
Sure.
It's Super Bowl weekend.
Oh shit!
So I'm like, is this good or is this bad? So
You got to play it up.
so
I
the
think you
bottom
got to
line
play it up.
is we needed to take it. We needed a show in the first quarter.
Sure.
Anaheim and Long Beach, no, Anaheim and LA were just not there yet.
Sure.
Those are huge financial commitments.
Yeah.
Pasadena, no airport next to it.
Burbank, 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, but it's too damn small.
He's
Dude.
outgrown it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can't do it. So it's just like, in Long Beach, PSA kind of has that on lockdown. They do their
Sure,
own
yeah.
thing
They
there.
do it there. Yeah.
The beauty of Ontario, and yes, I said those words, is 2 things. 2 things exactly, and I'm sorry.
Can't believe you said that, right?
Yeah. So it's $10 parking, which is great, but it's also non-union, which is a big deal when you're bringing in big
course.
corporate. Saves a lot of money.
Right.
And so we did the deal. We're like, we'll deal with the whole Super Bowl thing later. So we tell people it's Super Bowl weekend. Either they get really excited,
or the other way.
or they're like, Rob, what are you doing? And I'm like, okay, so here's the deal. We want to put together a huge party.
You have
on
to.
Super Bowl
I was just-
Sunday.
that's what I
as
meant.
the show ended.
When I said play it up, that's what I meant. Yeah.
And so we're talking to DraftKings, we're
Right.
talking to eBay, we're talking to Beckett, big corporates where
Sure.
I'm like, dude, if you take this and we literally make it every single year that it's Super Bowl weekend,
It can become a thing.
it's literally, you don't forget the fact that the Burbank show is Super Bowl weekend.
Right.
And let's face it, unless you're going to the damn Super Bowl,
Right. You can watch it anywhere.
you can watch it anywhere. And
Right.
so if we have it where you can watch it and all your buddies from the industry are all in one place, all of a sudden
It becomes a party, like
it
you said.
becomes a party. And with Phoenix this year, it's a 4.5-hour drive
Sure.
or a quick up and down to the plane.
Yep.
And so all of a sudden it looks a lot better. And we're like, yeah, I'm like, I think from who I'm talking to, we're literally talking to DraftKings.
Wow.
Can you imagine if they host a Super Bowl party? That would be insane.
70,000 square feet, You reserve 20,000 of it for the Super Bowl party.
No, even better.
That's huge.
We have a host hotel right next door.
Done.
That's got a 20,000 square foot room.
Oh my gosh.
Where literally it wouldn't be in the convention center, it'd be in the
Next door.
None of this is nailed down yet.
Right.
Granted.
Okay.
But having said that, and I can't tell you exactly what happened
course
in
not.
Vegas,
Right.
because it stays there.
It stays there, right.
But we just got a commitment where literally heads are going to go.
All right. Okay.
And
now,
I hate to leave you hanging
right.
on that because I can't.
When can you say
don't
something about
divulge.
this?
It's going to be in probably 3 weeks. we
Oh,
can
jeez. I
actually-
wish you hadn't said anything. Now I'm going to have to think about this for 3 weeks.
It's news. It's
All right.
it's literally something that only the National gets. So
What does the
we're
National
really excited. It's big. It's a Burbank thing.
All right.
So it's
I
gonna.
have no idea.
And then I think we're also going to do Labor Day weekend. It's 6
Oh, so you're
months.
going to do
We'll do-
biannual.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll be dose a year.
Right.
And they'll be about 6 months apart,
Right.
and they're not going to conflict with the National.
Nice, okay.
Because I don't care about any other show,
Right.
but I cannot conflict with the National.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Because
And-
you got to go to that too.
Yes, and the bottom line is the National's like 100 times bigger
Yeah.
than we are.
Right.
So there's no point of going after that.
But nothing's locked down, as you said. But the show is actually locked down, right? So that is for sure, right? Happening.
oh yeah, Super Bowl
Okay.
weekend's done. We
Right.
penciled in Labor Day weekend. And again, we want to have dates that aren't forgettable.
Sure.
And if we can kind of plant a flag, we are going to be the biggest show on the West
Right.
Coast. We're going to basically just kind of change the game. There hasn't been a national out here since 2006.
Anaheim.
It's a joke because the problem is these East Coast dealers that kind of have had priority numbers for tables at the National for decades.
Yeah.
They're even older than you. And they're way
They're
less.
older than me?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. They're even grayer. So at the end of the day,
This dude's older than me.
our business, yeah, whatever. So at the end of the day, we really cater to those 18 to 35-year-olds.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, those are the ones that drive the business
Of
right
course.
now. And our show is huge because of all the social media influencers that was there.
Yeah.
All the content that was shot
Right,
was
right.
crazy. And we were actually competing against 2 other major shows that weekend. We didn't know it when we booked it, but the East Coast National was going on the same weekend.
Wow.
And my good buddy Mike from Colorado was running this big show in Denver that had a couple hundred tables. So we were going up against those two, and Beckett came at me and said, East Coast National's been running for a long time.
Right.
They had more submissions at our show than they had at and they sent almost everything to the East Coast National because they had commitments.
Right.
They had 2 6-foot tables.
I know. I was looking for them. I had stuff to submit. I walked in. I'm like, where the heck is Beckett? I'm expecting a sign, and because I saw PSA, and there was a long line.
Speaking of Beckett, are they still like the benchmark for grading now? Like the catalog that they had, is it tie?
I mean, at this point,
Rob,
I'd
do
say
you still sell the Beckett monthly?
So
I say it's a matter of preference, bro. At this point, I mean,
okay, so let me go back to you.
Yeah.
So you're at a dinner party with your friends, and there's, to me anyways, there's 3 legacy companies.
Stop lying, Rob. I have no friends.
You're right. But you didn't think you'd admit it. So
hold on.
So here's the deal, right? So you're at a dinner party and you hired some friends to come in, correct? And so you're talking about, you're like, I'm into baseball cards, I'm into sports cards, and maybe they were too, back from 87 to 92, let's just say. There's 3 legacy brands that matter.
Yeah.
Upper Deck, Topps, and Beckett. Would you argue that?
I would say Fleer.
No, I wouldn't argue that.
Because Fleer's not really around today.
We're talking about now.
Oh, talking about
Yeah,
now.
legacy brands that you're familiar with. For modern people today, they still exist.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Panini, and I always joke, and I'm sorry about the guys at Panini, but if you were to mention Panini, they think about a sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you were to mention PSA, you'd think about a public service announcement.
Yeah.
Because these people back then,
Right.
those weren't things.
Right.
Right.
So Beckett, God bless him. You know, I was with Jim Beckett, actually spoke at the industry summit with him on stage,
Wow,
which was
okay.
really cool.
That's an
People
honor.
get confused, though, because he sold the business in 2003 or 2004.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been involved in years. And the Beckett brand, which was top notch back then, has taken a hit.
Of course.
Over the years.
Yeah.
And, they were kind of flat-footed during COVID. Yeah. You had all these other companies come out of nowhere and kind of superseded them super quick.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd see a new grading company come out every week.
Speaking of which, what was that one that was computer grading? It wasn't like manual.
It's
grading.
AI.
What
Yeah, I don't remember their name, dude. I mean,
well, there's a new one.
There's a new one I saw.
Called Tag.
Yes, I saw that one.
And
they were at Burbank.
Amazing.
They were at Burbank at the show.
Really?
The technology is amazing.
The problem with the companies, they have to establish themselves.
Well, that's hard.
Yeah, because people aren't going to respect it right off the bat. That's the problem.
You had a 10 million card backlog at PSA.
No,
they
caught up.
Too long.
They caught up.
All right, well.
They caught up pretty good anyways. But, these grading companies come up and there's like, every day there's a new grading company, right? And so people are like, what do you think about HGA? I'm going to pick on HGA real quick. And they're like, it's quick, it's, it's cheap.
Pretty.
It's like, it's good looking slabs.
Yeah, very pretty.
I'm like, the next time somebody walks in and asks where my HGA cards will be the first time. And at the end of the day, unless you have a secondary market value and demand,
right?
Yeah, you want to grade them, you want them cheap, you want them fast, but who gives a shit if nobody wants them?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's just like, and Tag has an uphill battle, no matter how great the tech is and what kind of plans they have.
Yeah. That's
somebody walks in my shop with 40 cards from Tag in their black box, and they put them on the counter. I'm like, I have no idea what to pay for these.
I don't know what these are going for exactly. Yeah.
Because every kid that's a genius, everything's based on a comp. They get their phone out
right away.
All of a sudden, they're like fucking. Can I say that word? All of a sudden,
He's
they're
been
like
saying it all night. Why can't you say?
And everybody's a genius because they can look up a card like that.
Right.
But the problem with comps, I kind of got off track here.
I know.
Is that if no one's willing to pay more than the latest comp, it's a zero-sum game.
It doesn't matter.
Everything's just going to go like this.
Well, that's the definition of Bitcoin right there. It's only worth as much as what people want to pay for it. Yeah. There's no intrinsic value whatsoever. So I get that.
Yeah.
But as far as like certificate of authenticities and all that stuff, I mean, PSA still they do memorabilia. That's
Upper Deck.
the other thing. So Upper Deck does
memorabilia. So does PSA. PSA authenticates it. That's what I meant.
Quick question. All right. So I just got.
Oh, it's right behind you.
It's literally right behind me. So I got
I'm just making sure the card mother hasn't asked where the hell you are.
We'll wrap up in a few minutes.
Beautiful signed Mike Tyson boxing glove. Never less. And I want to give a special shout out to Mike Angelis for this. Russell Peters was also a part of this. Mike Tyson himself was a part of this. And Miguel Tyson, his son. There's an interesting story, actually. Russell calls me one day, the comic, Russell Peters.
The comedian.
Calls me, the comedian. And he goes, hey, dude, I need a favor. I go, what? He goes, I need a Lamborghini Aventador. I'm like, why? And he goes, Mike Tyson's doing a photo shoot. He needs an Aventador. You need to get one for him. Hurry up. And I'm like, I'll make some phone calls. So me and my partner, Nick, at 3B Auto, we made some phone calls. We got a nice 2014 Aventador in indigo green. Drove down to the studio where the producer, Mike Angelis, very cool guy, was there with Mike Tyson's son, Miguel, who's a very accomplished photographer. If you guys don't know, just follow him on Instagram. Miguelo Tyson, I think is his name. Anyway, we shot it and everything, and then they only had one glove there, right? So, because what happened was
that's all he needed, by the way,
right?
Back in the day.
But they had a guy lined up, and then within an hour of them renting the studio and getting everybody ready, the guy flaked on him. So these kids were freaking out. They were like, "We need something," and we came through. And I told Mike, can you hook up another glove? And of course, my partner Nick took the OG one, and this literally came in today with a courier. So Mike, thank you, buddy. If you're watching, thank you so much. And so I want to get it authenticated. So who do I send this to?
PSA.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Definitely
PSA.
PSA.
Okay. And I want to put it in a nice acrylic case because Mike Tyson is the champ of champs. I don't care what anybody says. That guy was a killer in the ring. Iron Mike, I love you, buddy.
I broke my back.
I met him. I was coming back from
such a nice guy, Rob.
I was coming back from the Cleveland National. Why they have it in Cleveland's another story. But so I'm going through security, and George, who's worked with me forever, he's like, Rob,
Gentleman George, I call him.
He's the nicest guy. And so he's like, I think that's Mike Tyson right in front of you. And so I'm like, what? And so there's these two big dudes, and there's this guy that's like 5'9", 5'10", but stocky as all hell.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I will regret this moment forever if I don't say hi and introduce myself. But it's a little intimidating. He had two.
But he's very approachable.
Well, I learned that.
Yeah.
And so I kind of tapped him and said, Mike, I just wanted to say hi, big boxing fan. And he just kind of patted me on the back and wanted to know my name, and we talked for a minute. And I didn't get a picture because I didn't want to be that guy.
Right.
But no one seemed to know who he was until he got onto the main concourse.
Wow. How do people not know Mike Tyson?
The whole airport.
Mike went into obscurity after jail. I mean, he was basically disappeared, and now he's got such a resurgence. He's got a weed line, and everything. So it's really cool.
So what happened, Rob?
Yeah.
So basically, he walks onto the concourse, and there wasn't many people in security. It was just a few of us, and it was just like the most insane. It just everybody just converged.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, being famous and rich is great,
Right.
but to be able not be
You
able
have to
go,
deal with that all the
to
time.
not be able to go anywhere, especially when you're one of the most recognizable faces on the planet.
Exactly.
And it was just surreal, but he was super nice, and I'm a big boxing fan. I'm from Brockton, Massachusetts originally. Rocky Marciano, Marvin Hagler.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
So yeah, I love my combo.
He was so thankful that
I also had an interaction with Mike, but
What's your story?
This was in 2005. This was when he lost all his money. Don King had taken all his money. And it was right after he had come out of jail. He had just lost a fight.
Peter McNeely?
I believe so.
No, man, he destroyed McNeely.
McNeely beat him.
McNeely beat him, bro.
The first time or second time?
He only fought once.
McNeely beat him?
Yeah.
Now, what Mandela effect match was I watching that?
So I don't know. So at that point, I had already sold my shop. I'd gotten into cell phones. I was working for Sprint. We had 24 locations. One of my locations was Baldwin Hills Mall. So I was there for the day. I was training people. I'm doing my thing. I'm in the middle of the mall. Our store was a kiosk in the middle of the mall. I'm training people. Next thing I know, I hear a voice. Hey, do you know where they sell gator shoes? I'm like, I look up. It's Mike Tyson.
Well, you looked down.
You looked down.
No. I looked up because I was doing something. I was putting stock away.
5'8", so maybe
I was putting stock away. Oh, here we go again, huh?
Shot.
So yeah, the first thing I thought was, bro, I just read that you're completely broke, and you're asking me where they sell gator shoes, alligator shoes, which are like $1,200-1,500 a pair. I'm like, it's downstairs. I go, Mike, and I was that guy. I go, Mike, can you get a pic? He's like, oh, no, I'll come back. And he walked away. Never came back.
No, he's not
He
coming.
never came back. I was that guy. I'm like, hey, Mike's here. I'm gonna take a picture with him.
There was a good story once at a cigar shop. Havana Cigars, my friend Maurice owns in Studio City. A lot of celebrities would walk in. So my brother-in-law is a big avid smoker, and so am I, like a humidor. So we're hanging out. Tyson walked in. James Toney would come a lot too. Lights Out would be there all the time. Great guy. So Tyson walks in. He used to smoke Al Capone's, right? The little small cigarillos. And he's sitting there for like 5 minutes smoking one with us. And Angelo, my brother-in-law, does a charity boxing comedy night in Ottawa, right, for the Children's Hospital.
I know this story. This is hilarious.
And he goes, hey, champ, I do a show with Lennox Lewis every year in Ottawa, for the Children's Hospital out there. And Mike turns around and he goes, Iowa's nice. I've always been there. I always like Iowa. And I told Angelo, I go, I think he thinks you're saying Iowa, not Ottawa. He goes, you gonna correct this guy?
Oh, that's great.
Anyway, Rob, I don't want to keep you longer than.
Yeah, the card mother wants to binge something. So.
Okay, what are you guys binging?
Reacher right now.
Oh, okay, I see it on Prime from time to time. I don't know if I should watch it or not. So
it's good.
I don't know if I want to get into it. No Zanko tonight.
No. She had dinner with the girls. That's why I got a pass tonight. So
Pretty cool.
This works out good.
I'd like to thank you for being on the show,
thank
Rob.
you, Rob.
Thanks.
I'd like to do this again.
For
Definitely.
sure.
I had a really good time.
Definitely,
Appreciate
man.
it, Rob. Anytime, man. You're welcome anytime you want to be here.
The mountains were blue.
Right.
These guys are great.
Of course.
This is like the ultimate.
man.
I'm jealous as all hell. Dude, my wife would just kill me if I cleared all the shit out of my garage and lined it up with arcade games,
A bar.
a bar, and
Giant screen TV for the games.
I mean, dude, I
This is
Well,
every
Rob,
man's
you're
dream.
welcome any NFL Sunday. Hell, you're going to know half the fucking guys here anyway.
I do. They all shop with
Yeah,
me.
you'll know Levon, you'll know Phil, you'll know VJ. They're all,
Rafi and his son.
Yeah,
come
Rafi
to
and his
shop
son.
all the time.
Rafi, he's great.
they're all here.
Ralph's actually watching, so special shout out to Ralph and his kid.
What's up, Rafi? Nice.
Yeah, everyone's watching.
Hey, before we sign off, Yervon wants to know, remember what he pulled.
I know. I can't remember what he pulled, and I'm asking him. I answered. I said, refresh my memory, and he hasn't. So I'm trying to remember what he. I'm pretty sure he's talking about the. I don't know. I'm going to take a stab at it. It may be the Vince Carter SP Authentic rookie, which was huge at the time in '98 when he came out. That was the card to get at that time.
There was
And he-
only 3,500.
3,500. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, back then 3,500 was
It was
minimal.
a small number.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now you got, cards one of ones. I mean, now one of
know, I
ones
have
are
two.
not even one of ones anymore. And then I don't want to get into this topic because we can talk another half hour about it. But they're making one of ones, but parallel one of ones. So it's like one of 200 basically.
There's over 18 million different cards
Wow.
in Beckett's database.
Right.
Good Lord.
So you just kind of try to wrap your
Yeah,
arms around that.
a lot of gimmick novelty stuff is
We
happening.
have a lot of them, by the way.
Anyway, we can go on another hour, but we're going to cut it off here so that Rob, doesn't get in too much trouble. So
Maybe I do have to get Xantra. We'll have to check. That's always a thing.
right there you go. Thanks a lot, Rob. Thank you for coming, and
Yes, thanks, Rob.
and I'll see you tomorrow at the shop. So
Oh, yeah. Maybe twice, if I'm lucky.
And VJ will be back on Monday when he gets back from Vegas.
and join us again next month when we'll have a special election
it's an
show.
election night. Yeah, it's an election night coverage show.
We will have two guests that night.
That's right.
And both these guys are heavily involved in politics, so you won't be hearing just our amateur opinions. You'll have people that are actually.
Well, just give the names of the guests right now.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right, well, one is, they're both great friends of mine, and one's a political strategist, Armin Martin, who's also an attorney. I think he's a patent attorney or civil law or whatever. I don't know what you practice, Armin, but he's amazing at it.
Right.
The next one is a politician. Got
Former
the
mayor
former mayor of
Montebello.
Montebello, Jack Hajinian, is going to be here. So we're going to be keeping tabs on the elections. It might be a longer night.
Yeah,
but,
we're
you know,
going to go a few hours that night. We'll
we're-
have the TV on. You won't see the logo.
Yeah.
We'll be getting in the returns and sharing them with you as it happens. And
Yeah.
it should be a fun and interesting show. So
Yeah,
please join
definitely.
us election night. That's I believe November 5th, November 4th.
I think it's third.
Is it third?
Is it third?
I don't know. Whatever. One of those nights. The first Tuesday in November. Join us. So, and thanks again for watching. Share the podcast. We'd love to get more people to join in on all the fun. So,
All right.
thanks again, guys. We're going to sign off. We'll see you next time. Take
Thanks,
care.
guys.
Cardfather out.
Out.